G'day everyone, welcome to On The Wire. I'm Warren Davies, the Unbreakable Farmer, and today we have Andrew Ford, the Attractionist, with us today. Thanks for joining me, mate. It's a pleasure to have you on The Wire.
Mate, good to see you, Mr. Unbreakable Farmer.
How's things going, mate?
Yeah, good. I'm just working away. Got the kids downstairs, so if they bust in the room, there might be some interruptions.
That'll be fine. So I suppose we'll get straight into it, mate. Just if you could tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and how you first started out, or a bit about your background, because I know you've got a little bit of a quirky, interesting past that you might want to explain to people. But yeah, so I'll hand it over to you. Just give us a little bit about the Andrew Ford story.
Sure, thanks, mate. I mean, most people who meet me when I'm in the city wearing a suit and talking social media strategy think this is a vanilla guy. This is, a guy who's probably just grown up a normal life, and then they hear me tell my story and they're like, oh, that's a bit different. So basically I tell it in, and you've seen me present this in sort of two halves. So I grew up, my mum was a hippie in the 70s and grew up in Melbourne, and we had a pretty freewheeling lifestyle. I like to say I was free range growing up, So I had pretty much freedom to do what I wanted. I was the youngest of three kids, so my older brother, who was 7 years older, paved the way. So I sort of, everyone was sort of an adult by the time I got to be a teenager, so I could just kind of do whatever. And being
more the wild child,
pretty much. But it was interesting because it taught, this is the lessons you get. It taught you a lot about responsibility because, I basically looked after myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I was paying rent and buying my own food and cleaning the house at 15. So, so we were pretty much, share housing, it sort of seemed like. But my mum was a yoga teacher. She was, a greenie. We were vegan. We grew our own vegetables. We had, all those sort of, weird things. I had a guy in the backyard living in a pyramid. We went to ashrams. It was kind of an unusual background, particularly seeing that my grandparents had a bit of money and they sent me to a private school. So I'd have this, this mum who would be in a Swami Indian outfit with a dot in her forehead, drop me off at high school, this beaten up old car. Everyone's mums in their little tennis skirts in their Mercedes, So that was a bit different. But
little bit of a conflicting upbringing.
Yeah, correct. And, you don't know any different. And but when you're a teenager, you just want to be normal. So all I wanted was to eat white bread, none of this fancy, wholemeal, homegrown bread that she used to make, and eat chips and McDonald's. And anyway, so when I became an adult and moved out of home at 18, I, went, all right, I'm just going to go and, study at university, get a corporate job, live in a white picket fence house and play the stock market, which is pretty much what I did for the next, 15 years. And grew my way through corporate, did 15 years of business school, got married and had a couple of kids, and I literally had a white picket fence house, and I was like, oh, this is it, success,
living the dream.
And then I was like, but I've got all this stuff, but I'm not really happy, which is a bit of a problem when you turn around at close to 40 and go, it's time for my midlife crisis, and what do? You go to you reassess and do, what do you really want to do with your life? And the funny thing is that, I mean, unfortunately, we got separated, and but amicably. So I went to Bali and got myself a tattoo, as you do, and reassessed my life and realized that half of me is to have this spiritual sort of bend, because I really like people and I really care about people. So I realized that marketing big IT system to banks was great money, but it wasn't fulfilling. And I was listening to you talk to Gordon Jenkins, and saying that your bank account's large, but your emotional bank account's zero.
Yeah.
And I found myself in that situation, so I basically gave it all up and decided to go and do what I wanted to do, which was help people. And we're on the same journey there. And the way I help them is build their personal brands to go and do what they love. So I'm really passionate about helping people either get a job that they like better or start a business that they're passionate about. And I've got the elements, which is kind of weird, right? That I've got branding and digital marketing from corporate. I've got the business degrees with all the sort of technical knowledge, and then I've got this sort of spiritual personal development background, doing NLP 30 years ago. And,
quite the package.
Yeah, it's an unusual package, but it kind of works in what I do.
Yeah.
And I often find that actually is that when people bring all the bits of themselves together, the farmer and the speaker, it kind of works.
Yeah.
So I've got I delve into people's lives and ask them lots of questions about their upbringing and their values to try and figure out what they really want to do, and I can actually help them to get there. So, works for me for now.
So when you're doing that, like exploring your clients' values and that, or you can see the path that they want to go on, but their values mightn't be aligned with that path. How are you able to put it all together so it comes together?
Yeah, good point. It's really interesting. I tell this story a lot. Is I get a lot of clients who come to me and they say, "I want to do this." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let's." And often end up changing. So we end up changing based on the process of looking through this to understand process. And so, I had a client who came to me and she was like, "I want to start a business in coaching." She had a successful IT company, but then she had cancer, recovered from cancer, and just wanted to help people thrive in their life after cancer rather than just survive.
Yeah.
And, I really respected that, but she wanted to earn $1 million a year. And I'm like, okay, so let's break that down into, how we're going to do that. And we broke it down and realized she'd be working 6 days a week, 12-hour days to get that. And she's like, "Oh no, I can't do that. I need to do my yoga in the morning and drop my kids off to school and then make my food." And, really money wasn't high on her values. She had lots of resources at that time. So really helping other people and health was her primary value. And when we actually unpacked that, she realized that she only wanted money because she just sort of kind of was used to it and thought she should. It wasn't actually what she wanted. What she really wanted, what fulfilled her, was helping people. And because she had the resources from her previous job, she could afford to do that. And that's cool because, I've helped her not feel bad about her choices. I got another mate from university who I did a master's of entrepreneurship, and he's always wanted to start his own business. And I talked to him a couple of years ago, and he's like, "Oh, I just want to get out and do my own thing." And I go, "Mate, you just put a big extension on your house. You got another baby due. Forget about it." and I'm like, give yourself 5 years to get on top of that, and then do it, but don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And that was the bit that he was torn up in his values because they were conflicting between entrepreneurship and family. And I go, just allow it to be as it is and know that you'll get to it, And when people feel that congruency, then they can relax and, get on with their lives. So,
that's where the flow starts to happen.
Mate, it's all about flow. And things, I've got a pretty good bullshit meter after doing this for 5 years. And people go, "Oh, I want to do this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't believe it."
Yeah.
If I don't see the passion, if I don't see the congruency, if I don't see them representing that in their lives, then, I call it and I reassess and I go, "Look, what are we really trying to do here? Because you're saying this, but I'm feeling like that's not really true." So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you, once you've got that together, how do you help your clients negotiate the social media, web and all that sort of stuff to try and get it all together and get their message out there?
Yeah, it's interesting because we keep refining, improving and changing what we're doing, as all businesses do. Apple didn't ever make phones. They used to make computer systems,
Yeah.
I hardly even do that anymore. So you got to keep changing to survive. So the way we've done it is we've really refined our offering to suit a very specific target audience, and therefore what we do for them is very well put together, because you can't help everybody. And so the people we help are generally people who work for someone else. They're generally corporate types or professionals, but they want to do something more meaningful. They're filling that call, happens around 35 to 50. And so they're successful, but they're just not really feeling, fulfillment.
Yeah.
So I work with them, and we either get them into a different job, or their own business, generally consulting or running their own practice. And because we were dealing with those types, we focus mostly on LinkedIn. We use Facebook, and we hardly ever do anything else. Maybe Twitter, maybe YouTube, but generally not.
Yeah.
Because all of those things are just a massive distraction. Because you don't need those things.
Yeah.
Everybody basically is on LinkedIn and Facebook. You don't have to have the other things for that target market.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not marketing fashion designers or people selling, clothing. They live on Instagram and all those sorts of things. So for me, we have a very specific process around that. And in fact, now what we're doing is we're outsourcing it. So as in they're outsourcing it to us.
Yeah.
And we're making another pivot or improvement lately, which is basically, I realize that professionals or even people like yourself, mate, is that you want to go out there and speak and you want to do your coaching and so forth, but you don't really want to run your lead system, the marketing and the sales.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to do that. That's a necessary thing and it's a vital thing, but they don't want to do it. So we've actually created a marketing system and a lead generation system, and now we're just starting to implement that. We'll sell it for you.
Yeah.
We won't just get you a click on your Facebook page. We'll get you a customer in your office.
Yeah.
And people love that. They're like, oh, now I don't have to worry about it. It costs them a lot more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they get the result,
But yeah, you can go and spend that money anyway and not get the result. Where if you're going to get the result, plus you're not tying up your own time, so it's giving you more time to be creative or go out and actually do what you're doing.
100%. I mean, all it is, it's for the people who already earn money, but they're looking to scale, and they can't scale because they haven't got time because they're doing this stuff they're not experts at. Yeah. And I go, we're good at that. Let us do it, and you can go and do more of what you want to do. Yeah. It doesn't work so much if you're making 20 grand a year and you're struggling, then you can't really afford to outsource it. You know, you got to do it yourself and learn. And we can train them, and it's what we do. We kind of train them. But then once they get up over 100 and 150 grand, then we outsource it, and then they go up to 250 grand or 400 grand. So that's just been our experience, and it's new for us. But it's I don't know. I love that, probably because I did sales for 15 years and I did marketing for the other 15 years. And I go, it's just a process. And if you set it up well, it works. But it's taken us 5 years to learn how that process works really well. Lots of mistakes on the way.
That's it. But I think. But you've learnt by your mistakes. So someone that's coming in and wanting to do that, well, they don't have to make the same mistakes.
Oh, mate. And this is the thing. Is what I tell some of my clients. I go, I did 15 years of part-time study, so you don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a glutton for punishment.
Oh.
Well, as you look back.
This is the thing. It just is an escapism. Distract me from the fact that
Now, here we go.
It's the gap. These things happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just, I did it as a distraction so I wouldn't, forget. So I could feel like there was something other than work, basically, because work was good, but it wasn't really that fulfilling. So,
and that's I think a lot of people feel that, and that's I think, like you said, and that's like your target market is people work so hard, like yourself, but your job becomes black and white, and it loses the passion, and everyone's got a passion inside them, and they've got to be able to release it somewhere, and if you want to start your own business, because nothing worse than working for someone if you're not enjoying it.
Oh, exactly. I mean, like for you, like resilience and persistence, I think you need it more in small business than in any other field.
Yeah.
Any other business field, not athletics or anything.
Yeah.
Because I just see so many people giving up on their business and their dreams because it's hard. And I remember when I first started my business, I had an argument with my boss, and I basically just, told him where to go. He told me where to go, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm going to start my business. I've already been running it part-time, so I thought, how hard could this be? And I go, well, how hard it is the next day I've got to earn 30 grand this month to pay all my bills and, keep the office going and, pay all my expenses from a standing start. Otherwise, I don't have any money. I've got serious commitments. And you make it happen because you have to make it happen.
Yeah.
So I had 2 months in order to make, profit, and I had to make it, and I did because I had to.
Yeah.
But, I must have wanted to give up at least once a week for the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Like to the fact of looking at job ads and things like that.
What do I do next?
Oh, for sure. And it's only since, the business has got a bit more developed that, I just look at the job ads less often.
Once a fortnight now.
Once a fortnight now. But it's a circular argument. I go, I could go work for somebody and then, but what did I do? And then I'm going to be unfulfilled and sure I'll earn a bit more money, but then this and this. And I always come back to the fact that I'll just work harder in my business.
And
I'll just get over that challenge.
And you're like, and as you said, you're a couple of years down the track now, so you can. The bad times aren't as bad as what they were in the first 12 months. It's just that each year
Exactly.
you keep getting, and it gets better, and it starts gaining momentum. And sure, there's 2 steps forward, 1 step back at some stages, but the momentum's there. The forward momentum is carrying you to improve.
And you know what else it is, mate? And I actually think that you get used to it.
Yeah.
So if you've ever, I did a fair bit of martial arts and boxing and that sort of thing, right? And you can tell by, all my, I never fought though. I was always in the ring with headgear. I'm like, don't hit me in the face. And, I wanted to have a girlfriend one day. And what I realized is that, the first time you get in the boxing ring, someone hits you in the face. Like, oh my God, what's that? You're shocked, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to be no good if you get in a fight in the street and someone slaps you in the face or punches you and that's it.
Yeah.
You've got to be take the punch and just go, all right, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
And that's like business. So the first time a customer rejects you, you lose a deal, someone yells at you, your bloody, your marketing campaign on Facebook falls to nothing, and you're like, shock. Oh, slapped in the face.
Yeah.
And then you have it 4 or 5 times, and you're like, okay, let's pick up and dust yourself off. So it's all up here. That's the funny thing about it.
Yeah.
Right? And this is where your stuff comes into really good is it's like, I listen to your stories and I go, I shouldn't fucking complain at all.
Yeah.
Going to business school where I'd, go into the city and sit in a class for 3 hours learning cool shit. Yeah, that's not that hard. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, dealing with 500 cows that are giving birth and bloody, a story you tell about being up for 3 days. I go, that's hard. So this is where your stuff's really good. I go, entrepreneurs need to hear that. That's the value. It's a juice.
Well, we're trying to get it out there, mate.
Yep, I know.
We just keep batting on. I know that the boys are probably going to run upstairs in a minute and jump into the back of the thing. So I'll ask you some final questions, and you've probably answered them, but if you could just get them together, like obviously you've come from 2 worlds. You've come from your hippie background and eating organically and all that sort of stuff to then the corporate world and the high tech end, I suppose, like because you're dealing with technology. What are if you can combine those 2 worlds together? What are 3 pieces of advice that you would give someone that was starting out in business?
Great question. So my number 1 rule, and this is provided me by someone else, so I'll give him credit. So Guy Kyocera, who's he's the Apple evangelist. He's head of lots of companies. He's basically just big blogger. Anyway, I was fortunate enough to meet him at a conference, took him to the footy because I was, keen to spend some time with him. And he said, Andy, there's only 2 things that matter in entrepreneurship. And the first thing is making something. And the second thing is selling something.
Yeah.
And everything else is superfluous.
Yeah.
So I consistently see entrepreneurs and they're like, what do you think of my logo? And, I'm on the second revision of my website, but, it's not really, where I want it to be. And they're worrying about the fine details. And I'm like, how many sales calls have you made today? What are you doing to make your product remarkable today? Because that's all that matters. Customers don't care about your website. You need a website, and I sell websites. But what I mean is a website without a product and you selling is not going to work because you have to have money. And, we've really doubled down on our sales process this year and for great benefit. And what I realize is, and this is why we're pivoting towards doing more sales support, is that, people don't spend enough time selling,
Yeah.
And this is where the danger comes from because everyone's like, oh, you got to work on your business, not in your business. But now everyone's working on your business and not in the business at all.
Yeah.
They're not doing the basics. So that's number 1. Number 2, once you've got, a sales process and a product to sell, you've got to have the brand, So there's 3 brands. The first one is your personal brand. second one's your business brand, and the third one's your product brand.
Yeah.
So the first bit is when you start a business, it's all about you. And so what you need is a great LinkedIn profile and a website. And the website could just be your name or a brand name, but it's really about you and your story and why people should buy your service.
Yep.
Once you get bigger and your business is more than you, so it's you and somebody like an investor, a partner, a staff member, then you need to start separating you and your business into a business brand. So you need a business website and you need business social media and that sort of thing. And then the third part is when you start getting really big and you can start productizing your business. So it's not about you anymore. It's about and this is for service professionals mainly.
Yep.
And you start creating a system and a process and you're selling this, that system rather than you or the business. So you're selling an outcome. That's when you create the product brand.
Yeah.
Now, what I see is, and I made this mistake for 2 years. I tried to do everything at once. I'm like, because I know all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, great, I'll just create all the system and all the 3 brands and all of this stuff all at once. And I'm like, no, I tried to do too much, and none of it worked because I didn't have a product and I wasn't selling it. And I go, damn. So start with the first bit, make something, sell something, use that money to build your personal brand, then build your business brand, probably a year later, and then build your product brand year 3.
Yeah.
And probably the third piece of advice is marketing has changed so much now that even Facebook ads are wearing in terms of usefulness. I was a massive fan last year. This year, I go, they're dwindling in terms of effectiveness.
Yeah.
In fact, all advertising is dwindling in effectiveness because the more advertising you see, it just filters out. Everyone just filters out. The best way to get bums on seats or people to buy your product to your website is some human communication.
Yeah.
So you've got to talk to somebody, right? Now, I don't believe it has to be all on the phone. I believe you can do it through the internet. And so what we do is we actually have real people talking to real clients on your behalf.
Yep.
That's how we do it. Because you can't get the nuances with ads. And we find it's more cost effective and more, because it's effective. And it works, and we get people, bums on seats because someone's actually invited them. They just haven't seen it and, in their awareness.
Yeah.
So they're the 3 things that I'd give anyone.
Yeah. Oh, well, words of wisdom from the guru himself. Look, mate, I really appreciate you coming on tonight or today and, and sharing your story and telling us about your hippie background and how you've got to where you've got to today. Thanks for your time and appreciate you taking time out of your day just to talk to us.
Mate, always a pleasure. Doing an awesome job. Love your work.
Good on you, mate. Thank you.
Thanks,
see ya.
Cheers.